of fake.
This is the way. Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me when you'll remember this.
Hello, critics, non-critics, and friends. Welcome to the Film Optix podcast, where we take a glance into comic book movies, blockbusters, indie films, and everything in between. I'm your host, Christian, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host, Demon. And today we're going to be covering the 94th Academy Awards, aka Oscars 2022. But before we begin today's episode, you can listen to our podcast on platforms around the internet. That includes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Audible, you name it. And if you are a new or seasoned listener to the show, we would love to hear from you guys. Follow us on Instagram and follow us on Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X, or you can email us at filmoptix@gmail.com for any movie related questions. I said F. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. It's been a long day. I do apologize. But Devin, how you been doing today, man?
Mondays, man. It's just Mondays.
Rough days indeed. I mean, it was a rough night for Chris Rock on this past.
You get in one little fight and your mom gets scared.
And says you're moving with your auntie and uncle in Bel Air. Or, see, we've been seeing so many of these memes out there for everyone listening. If you haven't watched the Oscars that happened on March, what day is it? The 28th. So the 27th, literally recording this the day after.
The slap heard around the world.
Yeah, a little bit of juicy drama. Things were going like smooth. I mean, everything that you would expect from
and
them.
I sound foolish for saying this was going to be a boring Oscars this year. No one could have saw that coming.
I think we were all beyond sounded foolish for that. It has been some crazy stuff. So we're going to be getting into all the weeds here, all of the winners, the analytics, the drama with Will Smith. This is more of I guess you could say more of an informal podcast, a less quote unquote structured, but we'll be going through initial reactions, the winners, the analytics, all that stuff. So I guess it's not as informal as I thought, but it's been a while since we've done a non-review podcast episode. I think the last one we actually did was for the Oscar nominations. Prior to that, couldn't tell you. I think it was our draft series that we did.
Probably.
Yeah, I think so. We've been just kind of getting into the motion there. But as I said before, the main topic of this episode is going to be the 94th Academy Awards that was hosted at was it the Dolby Theater, or was that where the 8 other?
Yeah, it's Dolby
Theater. Yeah. Okay. That's wanted to make sure, because I wasn't sure if that was for the actual Oscars or, the other 8 categories they just pushed aside. But I guess before we get into the weeds for our initial reactions, actually, let's get into our initial reactions first, because I kind of want to talk about the state of the Oscars as well. But I'll pass it over to Devin so he can give his initial reactions on last night's awards.
Yeah, it's really difficult to kind of get into the state of the Oscars after this one, because obviously this was a big success for them as far as viewership goes, but how much of that can we attribute to the slap heard around the world? I'm sure once that happened, everybody started watching. I imagine that was a big boost. So I don't know how much the Academy can take away from this year as far as trying to build on their success in the future and trying to keep up the viewership numbers, because they had been decreasing every year until this year. But how much of that is the drama? I don't know how they're going to figure that out, because as far as how the ceremony went, I feel like the hosts were okay for the most part. Wanda Sykes and Regina Hall were fine, and Amy Schumer not so much. There was actually a joke somebody pointed out on Twitter that she might have stolen, which is definitely a thing that she's been called out for in the past, so not great there. But I don't know, it just feels like it's going to be so difficult for them next year. How are they going to follow this up? I dare them to have Chris Rock host again.
I dare them to have Will Smith host.
Lean into it.
Yeah, I agree with you on some points, man. It's just been typically, I mean, we watch the Oscars every year. And for a while there, we kind of just stopped covering Oscar or just award season content because, I mean, for the longest time, I didn't really view us as that type of podcast in general. But and for what we've been talking about, it's kind of hard not to talk about this. And I mean, if the Academy hopefully moves the Oscars and other award nominated shows over to streaming, I think that would be amazing. Like you said, you know, I believe from Samba, to kind of add on to your point, to piggyback on, like you said, it's definitely been decreasing every single year. This has been a bit of a spike this year. It's been up 32% from last year, and around 11.5 million US households watched the Oscars this year. And all the best picture nominees available to stream the award-winning Coda, of course, Coda taking home the gold of Best Picture, saw the biggest increase in viewership post-nomination. 39% of its lifetime streaming viewership happened post-nomination, which is amazing that people are watching this. But I have to say,
yeah, we should have let off with Go Coda. Like,
yeah,
that was the best outcome for me. That's what I wanted the most for Best Picture, and I was pretty happy to see that because more people should watch it.
Yeah, definitely they should. And I was watching the Oscars, and I guess this goes into like my initial reaction as well. It's just a lot of the winners were kind of just predictable. And of course, you know, with the Oscars always, you know, it being a quote unquote 3-hour show, it's really an all day event when you have the red carpet and then the main event. And they actually went over this year. And there's so many things that they could have done differently. And I think with viewership, it's great that, you know, they're able to get those numbers back up. But the way that they are presenting the Oscars, or not presenting, but I guess you could say debuting it out to people, is very tough, because I know people who had to go through questionable reasoning, or not reasoning, but questionable methods of streaming it because they don't have ABC, or they just don't have cable at all. There are a lot of different other avenues that you can take with like YouTube TV.
They could easily put this on Disney Plus and Hulu.
Yeah, I mean, ABC's owned by Disney anyway, so why not just do that? It makes things, you have to assume, and this is a person who works in, like, you know, IT, and Devin can attest to this, like, you have to make things as if they're made for a child. Like, hey, how do I watch the Oscars? Oh, you can stream it on Disney Plus or Hulu if you have a subscription. Cool, thanks. That's all they want.
Like remember how hard they made it to watch that the new like MCU like trailers they had come out during the investment day, I think it was.
Yeah, that
you had to,
was
like, search a specific thing in Disney Plus to find the
Lord
sizzle reel.
That was like the Pixar and the Marvel for what was coming up for, you know, 2022, 2023, etc. But yeah, I don't know why they didn't just drop that on Twitter, drop it online, drop it on YouTube for people to just stumble upon. And it's like, hey, something new from Marvel came out, something new from Pixar came out. And I think with ABC, part of their issue is it's always been tricky, at least for me, looking into it, because you have the Oscars who, you know, they want, the fans want them to cater to, you know, that core audience, which is great. But at the same time, you do want to widen your general audience, because not everyone likes football, but they still watch the Super Bowl every year. And even the Game Awards. Like, granted, we don't really care. I don't care too much about the awards from the Game Awards, but the reason why people tune into Jeff Keighley's show is for the announcements. It's for those new trailer announcements. And heck, I mean, even the Xbox Series X got, you know, dropped on the Game Awards a few years ago, and that wasn't even like expected. So it's like I don't know. It kind of sucks, because I wish. It just seems that the Academy can be a little bit old fashioned, and then, you know, editing in the other non-popular 8 awards that people usually don't care about, and then they go into that type of thing. It's, editing them in and like, I mean, if you watched it before the red carpet, you already know who won. So it's strange, man. But
and then the fan Twitter votes for the most popular categories is the worst thing they could have done. That obviously did not go well.
It did not go well. I just, in what universe? And I'm sorry, and this is coming from someone who loved Zack Snyder's Justice League. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. I rewatched it recently and I thought this holds up. But if you think that the Flash, time sequence when he's going back in time in that movie is a more what was best cheer moments?
Most cheer-worthy moment. Ahead of No Way Home and Endgame. Like, what are we doing here?
Well, like, is it really considered a cheer-worthy moment if it wasn't shown in theaters? Like, I mean, if I was sitting there watching on HBO Max, I'm like, oh wow, that's cool. I wasn't like cheering out of my seat doing backflips at, off my couch.
Yeah, that one was bad. And then fan favorite movie, just off the rails.
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead wins, and second place was a Johnny Depp movie that released in 2020 and then came out this year, and nobody had ever heard of it, and it got voted in. I think that got third, and then Cinderella was second, just as a meme. Just because that's what happens when you make it a Twitter vote. Like, you're gonna get memed, and you're making your prestigious Oscar awards look dumb when you put up a weird Johnny Depp movie no one's ever heard of.
Yeah, I mean, I see where they were coming from. Like, they wanted to get it's essentially like their People's Choice Award, which in retrospect never means anything to any award whatsoever. It
just takes one Snyder cult to take it over.
that too. But yeah, it's ABC. I mean, the Oscars in general just have they have an issue on their hands, and I really hope that. Like, I'd rather sit there and go through every single nomination and it be like a 2-hour show, no more than 2 hours, because we do not need 3. We've never needed 3. Never, ever, ever, ever have we ever needed 3 hours for any of this. And it's like, I feel like just give us all the nominations, because I mean, all that stuff is important when it comes to making a movie, and just cut it down an hour. We don't need 3 hosts. And, and when it comes to celebrities, like, some things may come off funny to them. They don't really come off funny to us and, us common folk people. And it's like, we're living in 2 different worlds here, like 100%.
Yeah, I guess we should probably dive into the drama here.
Yes. So let's dive into the drama here, and then we'll get into the winners, and then we'll kind of, close that out there. So for those who don't know, was Chris Rock presenting an award, or was it just like a comedy skit in between? I think he was presenting. Yeah. Do you know which one it was?
I don't remember.
I can't remember either. It all happened so fast.
It might have been the weird 28th anniversary they did for Pulp Fiction. What a weird number. Just wait 2 years.
That and the 60-year anniversary they did for James Bond when they did one. Didn't they do one last year, or was it like a few years ago? Like, they already did one for 50. Like, why would you do one for 60? It was very strange. So Chris Rock went up to present an award for those people out there who don't know. And, during his skit, his stand-up skit, everyone knows what a funny guy Chris Rock is. And he, he's making fun of like a few celebrities here in the crowd here and there. And then he makes a was it G.I. Jada or G.I. Jane? G.I. Jane joke to Jada Pinkett Smith, Will Smith's wife. And I found this very confusing because Will was laughing at
there's
first.
A lot going on because Will's laughing. Jada is smiling, but she rolls her eyes.
And then it pans back and it just shows Chris Rock. And then up comes Will Smith. And
Chris is like, hey, what's up? He just stands there and
he just slaps him like crazy. And then, Chris Rock, I got the crap, slapped out of me by Will Smith. Obviously, no one did anything about it. And then
he did take it like a champ and just kept rolling.
He really did. Like,
I don't know what I would have done.
Well, I assume he's had a few years of practice, especially when it comes to comedians. Usually when it comes to a lot of jokes, and I think we've seen this a lot with Dave Chappelle as well, especially his Sticks and Stones coverage, which was hilarious. I absolutely loved it. A lot of people did not take light to it. And it's always a very difficult job being a comedian because, to be honest, there really isn't a line you can't cross. It's the strangest, profession out there. But I can't say anyone would have expected Will Smith to just walk up there and slap the crap out of him and walk back and say, don't, keep your wife's name out of your mouth.
Yeah, there's a lot of strong opinions on the internet going around.
Yeah, definitely. And it's such a, like, I've viewed it more as like a gray area because it's like,
yeah, you gotta have some nuance.
Yeah, like I don't blame
for me. I'm like right in the middle. Like, I don't think he should have slapped him. Like, there's no reason for that. But at the same time, there's people that are like, oh my God, he assaulted him. He could have died. Yeah. He could have been killed. But no, it's not that extreme. You just slapped him and walked away.
And then you see Lupita Nyong'o's face. She was like,
yeah, she was shocked.
But the better question is, did you see Nicole Kidman's face?
She was cheering. She wanted more.
AMC theaters, we make movies better.
I'm so tired of seeing her.
Hey man, she's a Nashville native. I can't hate too much, but yeah, I'm kind of tired of it too. Just a little bit, just because I think a movie's about to start, and then nope, here goes the Nicole Kidman commercial. Anyone who's ever been to an AMC theater will know that for sure. But yeah, this whole the drama between Will Smith and Chris Rock, they have since, Will Smith has since apologized to Chris Rock.
There is some background because when Chris Rock hosted a few years back, he made a different Jada Pinkett Smith joke. I don't know if you saw that.
I did see that.
That one was actually really funny.
Yeah.
This one was just kind of like a throwaway joke. It wasn't very funny, but the first one was really funny.
Right. And it's not like he was actually going towards, it's not like he was actively trying to like piss her off. For those people who don't know, Jada Pinkett Smith has alopecia, so she can't like grow hair.
That's another part of the puzzle that we don't really know precisely whether or not Chris Rock was aware of that. Because that's a big part of it too.
I mean, were you aware of it beforehand? I was not aware of it whatsoever.
I was not. No,
not at all. I thought.
I imagine Chris Rock wasn't either. Because it seems like maybe you just assume that that's what the style she's going with, kind of just like her daughter.
Yeah, exactly. And it might be more of a support solidarity thing with her daughter also doing the same thing, but I'm not entirely sure. But I mean, this has led to a lot of stuff. I'm kind of glad we were able to cover this now because now we're getting a little bit more of the insight. Chris Rock is not going to be pressing charges, but there is a little bit more to the story when it comes to the Oscars. Academy officers convey an emergency call about Will Smith's actions during the 94th Academy Awards. And it's
so crazy too. We already mentioned the slap happens and then literally 30 minutes later he wins the award for Best Actor. That's, for the people that are saying this is scripted, that is the best evidence right there, because you couldn't write it better than that. If you are like a conspiracy guy and you think that the whole slap was scripted, it's possible. I mean, I'm not going to rule it out because Chris Rock just kind of stood there like he was ready and just took it. Yeah. I don't know.
It's so, like you said, there's so many gray areas, and it looks like a full review will take place with Will Smith's Academy membership may be reportedly suspended, but his Oscar will not be revoked. So we're not entirely sure what's going on there. I think it's a little ridiculous that they're actually going through with this, especially with name any other, the like Kevin. Oh my gosh. Kevin Spacey. There we go. And countless other celebrities out there that have done way worse. I saw a meme out there earlier today. It was like, I can excuse pedophilia, but I draw the line at slapping a comedian type situation.
Yeah, there's a lot of extreme negative reaction towards Will going on. I don't think he should have done it, but I don't think it's
right
that big of a deal.
Yeah, I totally agree. And it's, I think it's ridiculous how they're actually, it's like now that Will Smith finally has an Oscar, that he finally has an Oscar.
And now it's overshadowed by this.
Yeah.
This is the biggest moment in his acting career, and people will forever remember the slap.
the slap. Tell me, man,
It's just crazy.
That Nicole Kidman, that picture is priceless. Her mouth is wide open. She's about to jump out of her seat. Like, oh my gosh, did that just happen? Like, Lupita Nyong'o was like, whoa. She's oh. She didn't say anything. She was like, hey, you know, but it is ridiculous how, you know, they're now out of all of a sudden, they want to finally start taking action. When so many other celebrities who are still part of the Academy today, a member, a part of the Academy, a fair percentage of them, of the Academy members, have been abusers and, you know, rapists and all that negative stuff. And I don't feel like they can pick and choose when to, you know, go through with that. That doesn't seem fair at all. I mean, I can understand. It's so weird because, like I said, Will was like smiling at first, and then Jada kind of just rolled her eyes, like you said, and then like he just like
it's just a once in a lifetime moment.
He appeared out of nowhere, and I was like, was he like inebriated? Was he? I really don't know, but I don't think it's fair that the Academy is now deciding to pick and choose. Like a slap in the face. Come on, like. Y'all, he got the biggest viewings in years due to that and due to Coda winning. So let's go into the winners of the 94th Academy Awards. We'll kind of go through these super quick. You know, we're not going to take 3 hours long for you guys. So starting off with the big one, Best Picture. Coda took the gold home. It was up against Belfast, Don't Look Up, Drive My Car, Dune, King Richard, Licorice Pizza, Nightmare Alley, The Power of the Dog, and West Side Story. So I got to say, Devin, this was definitely this is probably my only saving grace of the entire show when it came to, like, I felt like a lot of the other nominations and winners in general were just very predictable. There's this, I'm not sure if you know this, Devin, but there's this very strange science that goes into like the Oscars and other Academy Awards. Like if they win somewhere else, they have a higher chance of winning, that same award at like another award ceremony or the Oscars and things of that nature. But let me go through the rest of these nominations and we'll kind of just talk about it, you know, talk about our you know, what made us smile and what made us just go, just expected.
Yeah, obviously Will Smith, Best Actor. I mean, I'm happy for him, but I was pulling for Andrew Garfield, obviously. Best Actress was a bit of a surprise because I don't think anybody saw that movie.
For what? Actress?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, there are a lot of people. Like, I watched The Eyes of Tammy Faye. I was sent a screener of it. And I mean, it wasn't my favorite, but I did like Jessica Chastain's performance.
I'm glad she won. I mean, she's a great actress.
Yeah. Between her and Will Smith, I mean, they finally both have their Oscars. Jessica Chastain was up against Olivia Colman, Penelope.
I thought Kristen Stewart was a shoo-in.
I thought she was too, to be honest. I was like low key pulling for Kristen Stewart, like 100%. But I'm glad Jessica won it. Probably the only other person in that category who I think personally would have deserved it. I honestly think the Best Actress category, there was a lot of people who were snubbed for sure. Yeah, Ruth Negga and oh my gosh, she plays Valkyrie in Thor. Tessa Thompson. There we go. Sorry, I got a brain fart there for a little bit. And honestly, I wholeheartedly believe that Emilia Jones was snubbed from Best Actress. Like I'm sorry. That's just my personal, thought and opinion. I'm not mad about it. I feel like she was snubbed, like 100%, because she did a fantastic job. There are definitely other more worthy actress picks. I feel like they could have gone here, but that's just me. Did you watch? Did you see The Lost Daughter? It was on Netflix with Olivia Colman. Okay. But yeah, so you saw Spencer, right?
No, I have not seen most of these.
Okay, so I've seen all but the only one I haven't seen is West Side Story, y'all. I do apologize. It's just been very busy. It's been on my bucket list, not my bucket list, but it's been on my watch list.
And speaking of, Ariana DeBose won for Best Supporting Actress in West Side Story. Yeah, she did. I think it was like 60 years after the original actress won for the same character.
Yes, it was. I believe almost to the day, almost there. But I'm very excited for her. Like we already mentioned, Will Smith was up against Javier Bardem for Being the Ricardos, Benedict Cumberbatch for Power of the Dog, Andrew Garfield for Tick, Tick, Boom, and Denzel Washington for The Tragedy of Macbeth. Tragedy of Macbeth is the only one I didn't see as of yet. I want to. It's just eventually. There were a lot of movies on here where I kind of just, it wasn't like, oh, let me go through all the Best Picture winners and watch them. Like a lot of these I just watched throughout the year, and it just so happened a lot of them became Best Picture nominees. And then we had Best Original Song, No Time to Die, Billie Eilish and Phineas. So
how was we don't talk about Bruno not nominated? It's so weird.
Honestly, dude, again, I feel like there's a few snubs in here. Beyond the Shore for Coda, which was one of
and that performance for we talk about Bruno with surprise Megan Thee Stallion guest appearance, that was great. No one saw that coming. It's already number one on Spotify. Now it's just gonna be soaring even more.
Yeah, and Be Alive with Beyonce Knowles Carter for King Richard. I thought that was a fantastic opening for the entire awards.
Very
ceremony.
Tennessee.
Yes, very
not Tennessee. Tennessee.
I got you there.
It could have been shot in Tennessee. Who knows?
I don't know. I mean, wait a minute, is that my house? Beyonce? But yeah, so Billie Eilish and Phineas won for No Time to Die for 007, No Time to Die. Was also up against Down to Joy from Belfast. And Somehow You Do from Good 4 Days, which I still haven't seen. And as much as I would love to, it just never pans out. It's weird sometimes, you get kind of sidetracked and you have a plan and then you got to watch other things and then it kind of just gets away from you. Best production design went to Dune. Best documentary feature went to Summer of Soul, which I was very, very excited about. I wish that Billie Eilish's documentary was nominated, but that's just more of a personal thing for me, something I got to get over. Best adapted screenplay went to Coda, which was that was when people were starting to go throughout the night saying, oh, like, is Coda gonna win?
That and Best Supporting Actor, Troy Kotsur.
Yeah, Troy Kotsur.
That was real heartwarming.
A very emotional speech for sure. And I just, whew, man, oh man, it was crazy. Best original screenplay went to Belfast, which I think was pretty well deserving. I mean, I was kind of rooting for Don't Look Up. I'm not gonna lie, get like one win in there, but it is what it is. Best costume design, of course, went to Cruella. That was up against Dune, Nightmare Alley, Cyrano, and West Side Story. Best live action short went to The Long Goodbye. I actually did not watch any live action shorts. Again, just didn't really have too much time on my hands. And
then Dune pretty much swept all the visual / audio awards, which I was fine with because obviously it was a great looking and sounding movie. I'm just glad it didn't win any story awards.
Wow, Devin!
Not a very complete story.
Devin, no, it's part one. We're getting more of the story. It's fine. You're gonna love it. I think you're gonna like part 2 a lot.
I'm happy it won all the pretty awards. That's what it was. It was pretty.
Okay, but what if Dune would have won Best Picture?
I would have not been happy.
I would have been floored. Yes. But for Best International Feature, Drive My Car won, and that was up against Flea, The Hand of God, Luana, A Yak in the Classroom, and The Worst Person in the World. Drive My Car is very, very good. I do feel like it is a bit too long, but it's like pretty well paced from majority of the movie. I really, really liked it. I would have been okay with it winning Best Picture, to be honest, as well. As we mentioned before, Troy Kotsur won for Coda. He was up against Jesse Plemons, J.K. Simmons J.K. Simmons for Being the Ricardos, Jesse Plemons for Power of the Dog, Cody Smith McPhee for Power of the Dog, and Ciaran's Hands for Belfast. And then Best Animated Short was The Windshield Wiper. Again,
I don't know if we have to go through all these.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of them here. Like we said, Dune took a lot of these home. And then I guess, it's actually very odd at the very end of this entire like screen here. Like it's like Best Supporting Actor and Actress are like completely separate, which is weird. But yeah, Ariana DeBose won for West Side Story. Did you get a chance to watch that?
No, I don't need Ansel Elgort in my life.
But yeah, those are pretty much, we kind of just wanted to go through a few of the winners there. Sorry, I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there for a bit, but yeah, there's a lot of, well-deserved wins here for sure. And then actually we almost forgot one of the bigger ones for Best Director for Jane Campion for Power of the Dog. Very, very odd that
I wanted to boo.
It's just very odd that Denis wasn't. That's the one head scratcher I had throughout the entire night. Like, how do you have Kenneth Branagh for Belfast, Ryusuke Hamaguchi for Drive My Car, Paul Thomas Anderson for Licorice Pizza, Jane Campion, and then still Steven Spielberg for West Side Story, and then like Denis not even thrown in there? It really blows my mind. I don't understand how that happened, like at all. But, The Power of the Dog, it was nominated for the most, about 12 nominations, and won one. And that was for Best Director, which I'm excited that it won because it's a woman winning Best Director.
But it's a woman who takes weird shots at other women.
There was that weird controversy. I guess as long as she apologized and doesn't do it again, that's a different thing for me at least. But yeah, I'm very excited for Jane Campion. I think the direction of Power of the Dog was great. It's just, it wasn't one of my favorite movies ever, but I'm glad that she got the recognition she definitely deserved there for sure. So that pretty much goes over all the winners that we kind of wanted to touch on. Like Devin said before, there's a lot of there's a lot to get through for two movie lovers here. So we pretty much kind of covered everything we wanted to talk about. I guess we'll get into final thoughts, and we can rate the Oscars compared to last year. How much did you enjoy it? So I guess I'll push it over to Devin for his final thoughts and to give his ratings compared to last year. And what would you like to see for next year's Oscars change?
Well, I don't really remember anything from last year, so I guess this is definitely a big improvement just because everyone will remember this one forever.
The in memoriam was nice, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as next year, I think they just need Chris Rock and Will Smith to host together. That would be the ultimate win for them.
We could have 3 Spider-Men on, but no,
that was what I wanted, but they didn't want to.
Tom Holland was not
Chris
there.
Rock and Will Smith together.
Yeah.
On that stage, give Chris Rock a nice neck brace.
Oh, my life. No, that's a bit. Oh, my neck. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, dude. Go ahead.
They have a year to reconcile and make up with each other. They should be able to work it out.
We'll see them in like 3 months, like on I don't know, the beaches of of Italy or something, just hanging out. Never been better. Yeah. Okay. Oh man, but yeah, what would you give for your rating for this? I mean, if you were to rate it, would you rate a thumbs up, thumbs down, so type situation?
I mean, it just has to be thumbs up just because of the drama. We were watching it live in Discord, and we were just like, "You just slapped him! What the?" Just wild.
Yeah, I was in the other Discord. I wasn't sure if you were watching it with anyone, but yeah, I had some people watching it. I invited to watch, and we just had a good time. It was, I mean, like I said, this year was very predictable. With Jessica Chastain, Will Smith, and Jane Campion winning their awards. But I'm very excited that they were able to receive those. But it also just want to let people know it doesn't just because your favorite movie or favorite actor or actress did not win in those specific categories or whatever category it may be, it doesn't take away from the fact that these are all amazing movies. I will say I feel like the Oscars does pan a little bit too much towards critics sometimes. I wish it was more of a general movie lover experience. It does, it's always fun to see, the red carpet and people, kind of all dressed up, what are the stars wearing and whatnot. But sometimes I wish it was more I felt like, I wish it feels like more like the Emmys. Like the Emmys feels like all love for everything TV. And also I would love to see the Oscars finally start recognizing horror as a genre, because it just seems I mean, you could talk about superhero movies all day long too, blue in the face, but I feel like horror genre itself, or thrillers, whatever you want to call them, definitely get overlooked from the Academy for for a very long time. So I that's one change I wish, or I hope to see, maybe not within the next year, but hopefully within years to come, because, you know, Lupita Nyong'o got completely snubbed for Us. I was like,
Amen.
Come on, this is ridiculous, but it is what it is. So I guess I would also give it a thumbs up for my rating as well, for the Oscars, the 94th Academy Award. But again, go watch Coda, go watch all the Best Picture nominations, see what you like. It's always a good thing to kind of get out of your comfort bubble, because you don't want to get too complacent with the films and the shows that you watch. So that's my advice to you, dear listener. But yeah, that pretty much concludes our 94th Academy Awards winners and reactions here on the show. So what's coming up in the podcast, you might ask? We have a lot going on. This will be going up. We have our Lost City review that should be out by the time that this is up. We're going to be covering Moon Knight season 1, episode 1. That's going to be dropping on Wednesday, March 30th. You can listen to our X movie review, our Turning Red review, and our Adam Project review. We have so much coming up on the podcast. We're going to be concluding our Hunger Games franchise revisited series here soon, within the next month in April. There's a lot of great stuff coming up on the show. We might be covering some Halo. You never know what you're going to find. So definitely always make sure to check out one of our past episodes, and always make sure to share this episode with a friend, whether it be your mother, your brother, your lover, whoever it may be. Make sure to share a episode of the Film Optix podcast with a movie lover in need. So that pretty much concludes. Again, we hope you guys have a great start to your week, and we will see you guys next time. And that's a wrap for today. Thank you all for listening. And if you enjoy the show, leave us a 5-star rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And follow us on Twitter and Instagram to stay in the know. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys at the Emmys. Boy, the Emmys are coming up. Let's go. Let's go, Emmys. Who are we pulling for this year? I really don't know, but I've been watching a lot of TV. Euphoria season 2. Let's go.
Peace.